Anyone who's watched a regular show probably has a lot of takes on how they handled relationships. We always talk about the two big ones in the show, and there's a reason why we don't talk about Benson's love life. That's because for a large part of it, it sucks. And not in the episodes were bad sort of way, but in this man really deserved better sort of way. Now, if you don't know, Benson is not just a park manager within regular show. This man constantly has to deal with the two laziest excuses for workers, who somehow, in supernatural ways, seem to bring him within an inch of his life often if they're not finding creative ways to piss him off. Not only that, but his boss's father, Pups' father, sucks and doesn't give him the respect that he deserves for managing the upkeep of an impressively big park, always getting his name wrong.
It's always good to have you at the park, Mr. Mallard, sir.
Don't try to fraternize with me, Bert.
Actually, sir, my name is Benson.
I know what your name is, beanbag!
Benson is like this generation's Squidward, in the sense of you start to understand him more and more as you get older. The only thing this man had going for him is that he has an apartment that's not that bad looking, although I say this as a guy who relates to those memes of the incredibly minimalistic rooms that have a TV and a mattress and that's it. We must start this saga with a mystery. We see in the end credits of the episode Mordecai and the Rigbys that there was a character named Veronica. We'd never see her because she was within a scene that was deleted before the episode premiered. It's unknown what she looks like and what her relationship with Benson was to be, but it is speculated that she was going to be Benson's first love interest. And the fact that we don't see what happened with her and Benson is going to be a running theme within the show when it comes to his love interests. And that leads us into part 1, The Rise. Supposedly after work, as he goes to his apartment, his neighbor has been trying to talk to him and set up some time for them to spend together, and they've planned a party a month in advance to do so. And mind you, Benson is not known up to this point for being in relationships. And as we learn, Audrey is a nice woman, although I do have some choice words for her within her debut episode, Weekend at Benson's, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So to start off that episode, Mordecai and Rigby, who I love, I really do want to mention that first, they can't even accomplish a task as simple as screwing in a light bulb. Which, upon second thought, why is Rigby on the ladder? Moral support? It can't be that good of moral support if it takes them an hour. Benson realizes that if you want anything done, sometimes you're gonna have to do it yourself. The problem is that if you can't trust these two to learn how to screw in a light bulb, you probably shouldn't trust them with your life to hold a ladder.
You're annoying!
You're annoying me!
Hold the ladder!
So you're probably wondering what this has to do with his love life. Well, if he's knocked out, he wouldn't be able to take himself to that party that he and Audrey plans, again, a month in advance. And before we get to Audrey, there's a scene within this episode that gives you a peek into Benson's view of dating and women. So Mordecai and Rigby attempt to drive Benson home and figured that if they put him in bed, he'll just assume that he had a bad dream. Muscle Man gets in the way of that as he wants to talk to Benson, and he's fit enough to catch them in the golf cart going max speed, to which I actually don't know if that's impressive or not. Let me check. Golf cart top speed. Golf carts are much slower than regular cars, with average speeds ranging between 12 and 15 miles per hour. Some can reach up to 25 miles per hour. You know what? Actually, that's quite impressive, especially since he would have had to have run faster than the cart to catch up with it.
Thanks for the smooth jazz concert tickets. My date tonight is gonna be extra hot. How did you know she'd go crazy for it?
More than a few times in this show, he's shown to be romantic and gives solid advice with women. Small tangent, but in Yes Dude Yes, when Mordecai was torn up over Margaret seemingly accepting a proposal from another guy, it wasn't Rigby who was able to talk some sense into him, but Benson.
You don't have the right to be sad. You never even had the guts to tell Margaret how you feel. Listen, if you leave things the way they are now, you'll regret it for the rest of your life. Telling her might not change anything. but at least you'll have closure.
Again, it's solid advice. Speaking to her doesn't guarantee anything, but it does offer you some closure. It makes me wonder if he's speaking from regret of his own. Again, we don't know what happened with Veronica. Now, back to Weekend at Benson's. Now that everyone has the context that Benson frequently has to deal with two slackers who put him in harm's way, and he dedicates his life to the park in an often thankless way, and actually has solid practical advice when it comes to dating and women, I want to introduce you to Audrey.
Benson! Where have you been? My party started 2 hours ago. Everything okay?
If anyone needs a night off, it's Benson. And what a way to spend it, planning a party with this woman who, despite all of these other people showing up, she's waiting specifically for him. Although Rigby just wants to throw him into bed and leave him like they planned, Mordecai, probably because he has a few regrets in his life when it comes to love, suggests taking Benson to the party anyway.
I can't believe we haven't hung out before this. I'm so glad you could make it tonight.
Yo, Audrey! Who's the jerk face?
Chuck, please. Benson does not have the face of a jerk, and I can talk to whoever I want. We're not dating anymore, remember?
Hold up. Time out. Okay, guys. I call for a meeting with everyone who's watching this right now. I want to present some evidence to the court. Now, don't get me wrong, Audrey's cool. I think she's an underutilized character, but she had to have known by bringing her ex here and speaking with another dude would have caused trouble. His personality doesn't scream patience or understanding. Now, if this episode had him crash the party, that's different, but she gives no indication that he showed up uninvited. So as much as I like Audrey, that's a grimy move. Now, benefit of the doubt, she could be too nice to not invite him, or maybe he insisted on showing up and she was too polite to say no. I'll leave it in your hands though. Was this a grimy move to do? Mordecai has the right idea though.
Think you can drop H2O on the FE and get away with it?
The FE?
Ever seen the periodic table, loser? FE is the abbreviation for iron. Like my stomach. I'm the iron stomach!
I don't know if you've ever seen the periodic table, bozo. F.E. doesn't stand for anything. Unless low-key you're going with frequent eater. Fe is a symbol, not an acronym. It's short for ferrum, which is iron in Latin. And ooh, I'm supposed to be so scared of the iron stomach, like its melting point is that intimidating. Have you ever heard of tungsten? Probably not, given that all the hot sauce and chili flakes you stuff your face with, your tongue probably has been fried beyond repair. Now, while Mordecai and Rigby are slackers, they actually serve as solid wingmen, keeping Benson's reputation high by having him go up against this guy, and they one up everything that he does, with him unknowing that their advantage is Benson's lack of awareness to what Mordecai and Rigby are up to. And when all else fails, he decides to go with the spiciest drink that he can think of, the legendary, famous Mississippi Queen.
You think you're so hot? How about a victory drink? I call it the Mississippi Queen.
But I have to ask, where did he get all of these ingredients from? Does he casually carry around a tub of mayo, or did he just clean out Audrey's groceries? Or, theory, what if, despite not dating, they live together, and that's why he's here, and that's why he has access to all of these ingredients? The Mississippi Queen is so legendary, it wakes Benson up, and after regrouping with Mordecai and Rigby, they decide to drink it, leading into a huge hallucination that apparently ends with Benson getting Audrey's number.
Benson, look!
What?
What does it say?
Yeah, man, what does it say? Get back to work.
He has a potential partner who just so happens to live next door. She's interested in him and knows how busy he can get, and it's unfortunate to see what happens next. Part 2, The Fall. Audrey's other appearance in season 3 is short, but it happens in Fortune Cookie, where Benson loses his towel and therefore is underdressed. Look, I get the joke, the towel fell, he's exposed, but it's not like the other time that this happened, when the little flap went up. So all of you trying to forget that, you're welcome. We'd also see her in the next season within the Christmas special.
That sweater is so cool.
Oh, you like it? Yeah, you know, it's just fun, festive.
I mean, that's gotta be the winner for ugliest sweater, right?
Oh, Oh yeah.
My guy can't catch a break. Between the Christmas special and party repeat, Benson would ask out Audrey and she'd accept. And finally, things are starting to turn around for him. And you can tell how happy it makes him, especially given how much he works his butt off to keep the park in order. Now, the sad part isn't that he gets tricked and held hostage and cloned for being a good partier. The sad part is that at the end of this episode, they have one last appearance together for the entire show. And that's it.
I'm not like Benson. He's the real deal.
Yes, he is.
All the drama that Audrey was attached to, or Benson's embarrassing moment around her, they really do seem like a great couple. And it's unfortunate that it all kind of ends here, at least visually on screen. Now, before we hit Benson's lowest point, there's two other times where Benson would speak about Audrey despite not being on screen, and these next two times, they are kind of conflicting and they don't really paint a clear picture as to what's happening in their relationship. So in Bad Portrait, the first time, despite asking out Audrey, they aren't officially together, and I'm unsure of why that is.
Yeah, I mean, Audrey and I aren't really calling it a date, Frank. Rigby, what are you doing? Stop!
Like, why is he saying that? We've seen them have a great time together, and Audrey clearly likes Benson, so what's going on? Within skips in the saddle, Benson would mention in passing taking Audrey on another date.
Me and Fives are taking our ladies to see some Mexican wrestling.
Mucho romantico.
Audrey and I are going to a jazz concert.
Again, it doesn't show that they are official, but we know one thing. Whatever they were, they won't be anymore.
Guys, it finally happened. I met the perfect girl. Her name is Natalie, and she's a preschool teacher.
Natalie? Huh. What happened to Audrey?
We broke up, remember? I don't recall. I was sad for months. I loafed around the house. Muscleman and Pops, you took me to get ice cream. Skips, you made me train for that marathon. In fact, all you guys had a role in my lengthy healing process.
I don't remember any of this.
All right, hold up. Time out again. So Benson and Audrey break things off camera? We don't get to see it? What happened? The mature side of me thinks that because of Benson's extraordinary life and his dedication to his job, he wouldn't have that much time to spend with Audrey, who seems to live a normal life, which is completely okay. They're two adults with two different paths in life and should be stable enough to understand that if they're not going in the same direction, breaking things off now is better than whatever may happen later. But the immature me thinks that she went back to Chuck. Again, she invited this man to the party. After they broke up, they're supposedly friends and Chuck is acting out this way. She had to have known that that's how Chuck was the entire time. She clearly enjoyed the drama, and maybe she even enjoyed seeing Chuck jealous over her. We saw a little bit of snarkiness in that Christmas special when she talked about Benson's sweater as well. She has a little bit of sass, and if I was Benson, knowing how much I put into the relationship, if she went back to Chuck, I would be devastated. Beyond belief. This man deserved so much better. And guess what? He did. But not yet. Back to this low point. In this episode, Rigby learns about local park intern Thomas's real history, but no one takes him seriously, including Benson, who is so absorbed in his dates with Natalie.
So this is the house where the workers stay. And this is the garage. I keep my rakes and shovels in here.
Ooh, rakes. I like a man who takes care of public parks.
Well, someone's got to do it.
He's so absorbed that he doesn't get any red flags when she handcuffs him, throws him into a room he's never seen before despite working at the park longer than he's known her, sees that Mordecai and Rigby are trying to save Skips and Pops who have been tied up, or even when she reveals that she's not Natalie, she's Natalia, and that she and Thomas have actually been Russian spies the whole time.
One of your own has been conspiring against you.
What? Who would do that? Natalie, you're acting crazy.
Nikolai!
Thomas, why'd you step out when she called for Nikolai?
Benson is clearly so desperate for love that he's overlooking the clearest red flags, all because he wants to capture whatever that spark he used to have with Audrey that we don't have anymore because it all happened off camera. It's actually crazy how unlucky he is with women in the show despite having some solid dating advice. And he wouldn't try dating again for some time. But granted, there was a reason why. Part 3, The Rise. Again.
Maylords decided to seal off the park in a dome to create a contained ecosystem. A group of scientists from the government is going to study it for a whole month.
Within the dome experiment, Benson tries to escape and meets a bunch of scientists, and one of them is a woman called Pam. In this episode, as he tries to escape, they try to reassure him that he has nothing to worry about by disguising as people that he knows, not knowing that Benson would understand his history with the people that they disguise as better than them. Benson and the others wouldn't escape the dome as this is a part of a bigger storyline, and what matters is just that Benson is now stuck in the dome for some time, and he would meet Pam again, but this time in a more casual way.
What I wouldn't give for some hot wings.
Wait, you like hot wings?
Yeah. It's literally my favorite food.
Me too. Well, maybe I'll just have to swing by your lab and drop some off.
You're gonna sneak past the guards?
Maybe I will.
Well, if you do that, then you'll be my favorite person ever.
And just like with Natalia, he's going out of his way to go and get her. And I can't blame him. At least with Pam, because they work at the same place and they enjoy working, that is a hurdle that they don't have to cross. Like when you look at it from that perspective, Pam is such a better fit for Benson. In fact, we learn that Pam used to not even consider dating anyone because of how much time that she spent working. However, they make it work. Benson would sneak in unauthorized food, in this case hot wings, their favorite, and they have a low-key date.
Oh, I also got ranch.
Thanks, but I'm really not a fan.
Me neither. Get out of here, ranch.
Yes! They're right! This is an unarguable fact. Ranch belongs nowhere on wings. In fact, it should be illegal. Unfortunately, given their opposite allegiances, this would make things hard for the both of them, especially when Pam's boss prohibits dating any test subjects.
You told me that you were too busy to date. You know what? Forget it. I'm issuing a new policy, effective immediately. There will be no dating test subjects in this dome.
Things go from bad to worse when the dome experiment turns into a space reality. As you may or may not know, in the 8th season, the main crew plus Eileen go into space. You know who doesn't go into space? Pam. And she realizes how hard it would be to sustain a relationship when you're not even on the same planet with the other person.
I'm sorry, Benson. It's not you, it's just math. I think we should just be friends.
I get it. I was sent millions of miles into space against my will. You're back on Earth.
Are you sure you're okay?
I totally understand. I am good.
And that's so rough. Benson's love life has been such a roller coaster where he meets someone who's cool and he gets that temporary happiness that comes with it, and it doesn't seem to last. I guess the silver lining here is that they actually break things off on screen. But look at this man, he's crying his eyes out, drowning himself in hot wings, their favorite food. Absolutely a wreck. And in his low, he'd meet a girl named Roxy, who is a rock. She interprets Benson's friendliness as mixed signals.
Roxy? Hey, Roxy.
Earth to Roxy.
However, rocks and organics dating within regular show is a taboo, and she doesn't really seem to care about that. They share somewhat of a kiss, and Benson would have to let her down gently. I don't know if this counts as a romantic interest for Benson, but he would process the grief of losing Pam better than Audrey. Now, you're probably wondering why this is labeled The Rise if Pam broke up with Benson. Well, towards the end of the show, we'd see in a montage that they'd end up meeting again and rekindling their relationship now that Benson is back on Earth. Best case scenario, Pam waited for Benson this entire time. In fact, they would become co-managers or co-owners, and they would work with the next generation of park employees together. It's a shame that portions of Benson's love life happened off screen, and I would have enjoyed to see more time with Pam. In fact, who do you guys like better? Who would you guys prefer to be with Benson? Audrey or Pam? Let me know in the comments down below. And in the meantime, as brutal as it was for him to go through all of this, at least it did work out, just like with Muscle Man and Starla, of which I did cover their rocky relationship in this episode here.